What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the CuzNCiseal show. I'm your host, Mike Fowler, aka CuzNCiseal. How was your week? Did you spend $7.5 billion on a flex like Xbox did? I doubt it. But yeah, this week we're going to get into the Xbox accusations. I also got Tokyo Game Show and a lot more. So let's start with it. It's going to be a little bit bigger, I think, but every time I think that, I can do it within 30 minutes. I doubt it this time, but we'll see. But we're going to start off what we always do is what I've been playing, and I've been playing a little bit of Among Us. The game's still going okay. Maybe because there's just been a resurgence of players. It seems like I've been getting some not so serious games. That first week I played Among Us, I actually got some real decent server rooms for playing with randoms. I think I've hit the cap of random servers because now people are just thinking they're just playing memes and they're not trying to play. There's a difference between like not playing and then joking during like the conversation parts where I started and that's how it was. Now it's just more you're in rooms with people adding 5 tasks. 2 of them long, so it takes a long time, or like a lot of pressing, the button a lot. And then they always go do the emergency meeting just trying to do a joke. But I'm going to also throw this news right here because this sounds better to put it right here compared to just somewhere down the road. Apparently Among Us has been out since 2018. And I don't know what brought it up in 2020, maybe just people at home and bored. But it turns out Among Us creators Inner Sloth was going to make Among Us 2, and they sent out a letter saying that's canceled because they're going to put all the work into Among Us 1 because of this surgence of players. They said in their letter they're going to be dedicated to this. They were switching to Among Us 2 because of Among Us 1's code of creating is very old, but now they're actually going to take the time and work on it, try to make it better. But here are some of the highlights they said. Servers. They're still working very hard to figure out server issues. They don't have a ETA, but things should hopefully be getting better and better. This is taking up all development time on his end for one of the workers. And last time I've heard, Innersloth's maybe like 3 or 4 people. So give them some time. The game's still good, but I'm glad to hear their benefit. But more, they're adding colorblind support, which explains itself. That's cool. Friends and account system. So they're actually going to make a way so you can find your friends. That would help my situation. I got to play one time with Chalfie and the stars align. The one game, me and him were the imposters together. And then I got to show him, because this was his first game, I got to show him how, like, I like talking through the chat and like trying to be kind of funny, but also try to be mysterious so they don't think about me or maybe like point out somebody else. So I'm glad they're going to work on that, and they're going to add a new stage. It's very early, they said. We only have just begun designing the layout. The theme has been settled on, though. The next stage Among Us is going to be a Henry Stickmin theme location. I don't know who Henry Stickmin is, but I'm looking forward to it, though. But back to what I've been playing. I also platinum this week Habrexia from Lilymo Games. That's the little company that Colin Moriarty has now got majority share of. And he's like one of the heads. I forget the gentleman's name, who's actually the main guy. But this was maybe 4 Twin Breaker, the Sacred Symbols story. And it is an easy platinum, but it's one of those ones that you have to put the work in for it. It's not one like, you could finish in 5 minutes to get the platinum. This one is like a legit space shooter game that you got to put in the work. Just go touch these other side game modes and do a little task, and boom, you get the platinum. But I'm glad I got to touch base and play that again, or finish it, because I bought it about a month ago. Also, real quick, I should have just said at the beginning, thank you everyone for all the birthday wishes I got from Twitter. And apparently I also got some gifts. I got Death Stranding, Borderlands 3, and Uncharted Lost Legacy. Borderlands and Death Stranding I have dabbled and, dip my toe in when they're brand new. But now I own them, and I'm going through Death Stranding. I'll return to that about talking about it on a later date. I don't want to put because now I feel everyone has heard how everyone feels about the main part of the story, but I want to know how I feel at the end, and because I've heard that's where a lot of people have different, or not different, but a conversation that evolves. People can go, "Ooh, you're just delivering. You're just a UPS guy." I know the story evolves, and actually, some people said it was like one of the best stories last. I think it was last year. But again, thank you for all the birthday wishes. Then Xbox decided to knock on my birthday door and shit on my porch. That's a joke, and also it is funny. But the main game I like to talk about, just so that it's really highlighted, and I really hope everybody would maybe go play it, because turns out it's on PlayStation Now, where I played it, but it's also on Xbox Game Pass. This game is called Observation. It's from Devolver Digital. Well, they published it, but it is probably, I would check it out. I don't know how to, I have a big little synopsis, but I want to know how I'm going to begin this little synopsis. Basically, if you want a good, I don't even know, a good space, like, I think it would be like, it's like an interactive, was it Away with Sandra Bullock with the satellite that was need to be fixing and she was up in space alone? But picture that idea, but I think a little bit better because you're active. You are a satellite-based computer AI. You seem to have been corrupted memories files, and you can't remember what happened. You kind of wake up and the satellite base is in peril. You can't find any of your astronauts. You hear one saying, like, you know, the computer's AI, and basically the code name's Sam, so they call you Sam. You find one of the astronauts. Her name's Emma Fisher, and you work with her, and she shows you how, like, you know, you should use these cameras, look in these situations. Some of them you're in, like, I don't want to call it like Resident Evil, but you're just a camera with only a limited amount of, you know, movement, and you have your computer brain's scanning everything, and then, like, one of them's like maybe like a brochure, in a sense, what I'm going to say. Hey, this is for Sam's AI, right? You scan the brochure, and it talks about, okay, this is how Sam interacts with door hatches, you know, for each station section of the space base. Okay, and the reason this is the only part, what I'm spoiling, if I'm spoiling anything, this is before they even show you the title card. Okay, so you learn a little bit of that. You actually help Emma take care of a little mini fire on one of the base pods. After you take care of the fire, Emma goes, let's figure out where we're at. Like, are we falling into the Earth's gravitational pull? Is that what happened? What is going on? And then you guys look out, and apparently the base traveled to the outside of the rings of Saturn. Like, it goes, oh my God, Sam, how did we get here? And through cutscene, like, not cutscene, but through, you know, he goes, apparently I brought you here. Why? And even as a computer, because of all the corrupted files, I don't remember. It's a puzzle adventure game. There's no fighting, because obviously you're just a computer AI. But so you have you look through cameras, kind of like a Five Nights at Freddy's, except you click on stuff in the camera. But you also get a little space drone. You get to be a little drone and a little bit more freedom. But some of the, you know, it's mixed between either do you have to be the drone to fix this puzzle, or do you have to be just the stationary wall camera to analyze and start, like, you know, open up doors and shit. I really hope somebody will listen to me and check it out. It's on Game Pass, it's on PS Now, and I ain't gonna lie, I started it up because I thought there was a platinum trophy, and I knew, thanks to, well, not like that, but Giant Bomb talked about the ending maybe either 2 Game of the Years ago or last year. So I even know kind of what the ending is. I'm still looking forward to how we get there. But there is no platinum, so that does stink for me. But it was so intriguing enough that I'm going to still continue it. I got to, like, the next stage. Like, that's, the satellite base is, like, one arm of it is, like, American. One arm of it is from the Chinese astronauts. And the other one's, like European. I got Emma Fisher, my astronaut, with me, we got to like the middle station that's the branch of it. That's all I'm going to say. I really wish check it out because even for some reason Devolver Digital knows what they're doing. They do know how to publish bangers to know that is going to be intriguing. It was called Observation. Check it out. All right. So let's get into, I guess, the elephant in the room. The big green elephant in the room. On September 21st, Microsoft announced that they bought ZeniMax, the mother company that holds Bethesda Studios and all the other studios that they own, basically without me having to call out everybody. So now Microsoft owns Bethesda Game Studios, id Software, Arcane, who's doing Deathloop for PlayStation 5, and I don't know why they made an article. The contract is so fucking dry. It's not even like a fresh contract. This contract's been made for years now. It wasn't like they're going to take it away. It's like taking more money away from $7.5 billion they did. They're going to respect that Arcane Studios Deathloop and Tango Games Ghostwire, which are now under Xbox. Those are going to be PS5 exclusives at this beginning, and then they come over to the old consoles like the contract said. They also own ZeniMax Studios, which is the ones that run the Elder Scrolls Online. They got a lot. They have 8 new studios, which makes their at Microsoft umbrella of studios go up to 23 studios from 13. Nope, not 13, 17. Whatever the fuck. 23 minus 8. $7.5 billion. And what I've been hearing, which is more like freaky, is it was in cash, straight up. Everyone goes, well, this was like literally a drop in the bucket of money for Microsoft. If fucking Sony had $7.5 billion just to go buy a studio or like a third party, this is literally a third party. They bought another, basically could do another station of E3, like how Bethesda was doing E3. They own Fallout now. Oh my god. It's a lot to grasp. What this brings is Bethesda games will launch now through Microsoft and be day and date with Game Pass. And some really quick things because there's nothing really to talk about more than what's been said. This is, it's cool. I'm on the side of a PlayStation fan that I am prepared now for these will not come to PlayStation no more. There are 2 ways to look at it. And this is the thing that's been fighting, people been fighting back and forth now since the accusations. Why would Microsoft pay $7.5 billion if you're not going to at least do exclusives for your systems of console or PC? And this is me, what is the point of buying a third-party developer giant to just have everybody, you just get the final check at the end of the day, even though you're showing your fans, you're trying to get them to do Game Pass and stay in your ecosystem. If you don't keep them kind of, at least, I think what I'm prepared for is, and this is probably the more logical one, we're probably going to get them a year after. I can see them. It also probably matters on sales. Once they get that cow dry, they'll probably throw it over us so we can get the rest of it. Some people in the industry are saying, oh, all the big names. Oh, Fallout's going to come over. Oh, Elder Scrolls 6 is going to happen. I'm prepared. No. Starfield even apparently has the PlayStation logo away from the watermarks of the website now. So I guess cool. I mean, the only thing that's more sickening about it is I've been sick and tired all week of seeing people making fucking like fan art of Master Chief and the Doomslayer holding each other's swords. And not even like that, both of their fucking energy swords. Like, holding, hey buddy, like that over the shoulder fucking grab. Like, I get it, but that makes it not even real. It makes it like you're gonna look pieces of art, if you want to call them fucking art. I think my Delvin Cox memes are more artful than these fucking Doomslayer and Master Chief arts. I hope this makes it so that we do get them on PlayStation. something like this. You guys are just rubbing in each other's face because it's just stupid. I hate that art. Only because it looks annoying. It doesn't even look good. It looks like that old Newgrounds when Master Chief and Samus ended up fighting. And at least that was like PS2 graphics, so we knew that was the only potential they had. But another little quick note I put up here is what's interesting. Maybe they also like this, which we're going to get into, but maybe I'll say it right here. The Tokyo Game Show, Microsoft actually went out. They're really trying to, sell Game Pass. So they said to Japan by next year, they're going to have cloud gaming for Japan, which is, xCloud. But the thing is that they picked up, they acquired from buying id Software is, remember last E3, we actually had an E3, but id Software brought out this new streaming software called Orion. They were able to have low latency, almost, I think they were talking about that. They could get up to like 60 frames per second streaming like Doom off a cloud-based gaming. So now Microsoft owns that. That will help them. That probably benefits, 60% of games, whatever's a shooter, to make it look good if it can work on streaming services with Orion. That's the parts that more interesting than even just the games. Okay, cool. The games, but also, again, the other part of that conversation, I know I'm going back and forth with this, even the same topic, but the other conversation is, why would Microsoft say no to a $70 price tag for PlayStation 4 games for their titles? So what? Microsoft will get 70% of a $70 purchase compared to the, you know what I mean? They do talk, that's why it's a double-edged sword. During these letters of acquiring each other, Bethesda says we're going to be under the umbrella, but we're still going to act like we're just Bethesda. So, both parties are like, yeah, we want our players to be able to play when they want, where they want, and what they want. So they have conversations that sound like they're going to be on both systems. But at the same time, $7.5 billion might be pocket change for Microsoft. It's still $7.5 billion. I'm prepared for the year delay for us. Maybe 2-year delay. Who knows? Maybe we'll see. But these games might be coming to PlayStation. Okay, onward and forward. HBO Max series of Peacemaker. John Cena's character from the new Suicide Squad is coming out, with James Gunn writing and directing some of the episodes. I'm really happy to see this. Some people posted, this kind of spoils some of Suicide Squad, but at the same time, it could be a prequel. He could still die in Suicide Squad. It doesn't affect anything because this could be a prequel. And in the episode of the DC Fandom that I talked about, the Peacemaker has the biggest origin that could be enough to enough storyline that you don't even need to go past the Suicide Squad movie with him, because he can go into maybe his backstory as one of the characters from, I think it was Charleston Comics, I said. So there's a whole wave of Peacemaker from before DC even acquired him to talk about. They also can just talk about when he was just a bad guy before being captured. But again, I'm glad to see it, and I think this is the first official what they were talking about of HBO Max is going to be the middle ground for movies to a TV type of show of the universes. I know that they have a Green Lantern show in the works. I don't know how that's connected to the movies yet, but we will figure that out. And then this is more shitty news, but the CW Supergirl is going to end after season 6. And I think it's very suspect that they are quitting or turning off the show after they have now Superman and Lois. You're going to turn off the IP of the female lead because now you have the main male show, Superman. Last time I checked, nobody in anywhere was talking about, oh yeah, Supergirl needs to end. I just think it's odd. Try and connect some dots. But hey, I got 3 quick fire rumor mill ideas before we get into Tokyo Game Show. But the starting is 2 of them are going to be possibly PlayStation's little 1-2 punch of some answers back about this accusation with Xbox, since they haven't said nothing yet. The rumor mill shows that Bloodborne is real for PS5 and is coming to PC as well. And then one of the more interesting ones is apparently there might be a Metal Gear remake, judging by a Taiwan store posting. There's been more and more hearing that people have heard that Sony has went to Konami asking for IPs. Some of the rumor, which I wasn't going to state, but like one of the rumors was even like getting the Castlevania IP and doing kind of a God of War, maybe Bloodborne style Lords of Shadows with Castlevania, but only for PlayStation. There have been rumor mills of like Blue Point Games having teases about Metal Gear in some tweets months ago. But I kind of really hope, like I'm doing this today, Sunday. This is going to drop tomorrow. And I hope, just like this last Monday, I hope Sony opens up and goes, hey, we have an answer. It ain't going to be 7.5 billion answer. But I hope they go like, hey, we actually got some games coming down the pipe that you might want to come by our system. Because that is also, again, going off that tangent, Bethesda games are great. And this is, if it goes, now this is where it goes, this is the main part. If Bethesda does keep those games exclusive, this would be the first year since PS3 and Xbox 360 generation I would consider getting a Xbox Series S for those titles. I'm pausing because I'm thinking of, because the idea of it is, I can't deny Game Pass is not a good deal. But last night, I went into my stepson's room and I looked at the library of Game Pass. I have PS Now, so I do have a connection of what I'm going to say. They're both good. There are debates. There could be a full front debate. They're both probably the same. The only difference is advertising. Xbox they just have a more, they're more transparent, not even transparent. They're more vocal of what they're acquiring for Game Pass. PS Now, you only get 3 new titles each month. They've been as a thing. They do that shit they do on PlayStation Plus. They wait till like the Tuesday, or like maybe they do it on the Friday before the fucking drop of like the next month to announce them. Cause what is it? But there's clinkers, because that's why they'll put more money in it. This month, PlayStation Now has Final Fantasy 15. I went to my stepson's room. I remember hearing about this. Xbox has Final Fantasy 15, the Royal Edition, so you get a lot more DLC onto the Game Pass version. They also have some other Final Fantasy games for free because they had to wait. They were already on PlayStation for even a year before they got to even come to Xbox. So that's the clinker too. The thing is, before the smoke cleared of Bethesda, both Bethesda had games on both streaming services. So I don't know if this might remove Bethesda games even from the PlayStation Now streaming service, which will make it look a little less lackluster. Because they both have New Vegas. You could play New Vegas on both of them. They both have Fallout 4. And then also I wonder if that might transition, probably not, because I think that's already set in stone too. I wonder how fast the PlayStation Plus collection for the PS5 will remove Fallout 4 now with that this accusation. But back to my little quick topic before I go back into that final rumor mill that doesn't compare to this. Both streaming services are even. I hate to break it to Xbox fans, but they're pretty even. There are some debates. I'll give you that. You have newer games on some accounts. But I'm not saying like, oh, we have that. But the idea of by the time you want to go play something on a streaming service, for right now, if I wanted to start both systems things, I think God of War, Bloodborne, they are on PS Now. At least I know Bloodborne is. Maybe I'm mistaken thinking of Horizon's on PlayStation Now, but not sure. They're both good. The only problem is now PlayStation needs to combine them. Combining the prices will help lower some expectations of how Game Pass is. Maybe get some advertisements out like how Xbox. I haven't barely heard an Xbox system ad compared to the Game Pass part of the ad. I think, how was it? Like, look at that. That observation game is both on both systems. Is it a small game? Oh, yeah. Do I wish I was looking at it last night? Do I wish Nier Automata was on the PlayStation version? It's on the Xbox One, but there's tricks to that. There's a lot more Japanese games now on Game Pass, but that's because they weren't even on Xbox to begin with until last year. Nier Automata is from 2017. It didn't come to Xbox until the Game of the Year version, So there's tricks to this trade, and it goes into that idea that I think is going to happen with that the milk, PlayStation might suck these Japanese titles dry, and they finally went over to Xbox, and Xbox looks like the good guy. Man, that's awesome. They got these titles for us. It's because they're done. Back to the rumor mill of this one is not about these two big conglomerates. There's more something I kind of hope this is real. There's a rumor Soul Silver and Heart Gold, the Pokemon games, may come to Switch. I'm like, ooh, I love that. Those are the best. That's the best generation. Generation 2 is the best Pokemon. It has the best way of adding more characters and also remembers the older characters since you have to go back to Kanto and get those gym badges too. I hope that one's real, but off the rumor mill. And also real quick, apparently in October, Zack Snyder is shooting more shots of the Snyder Cut with Ray Fisher and even Ben Affleck. And it also comes out that the Snyder Cut needs like $70 million to finish. I put it out here because I am a Snyder Cut fan. I will probably defend the Snyder Cut till Kingdom Come. I do understand, well, not like that. 70 million's a lot. I don't know if it maybe involves paying some of the actors to come back. I don't know how contracts work. I'm going to give Zach the benefit of the doubt. I have a feeling he had a movie. Do I think he had a 4-hour show that can transition into a proper 4-hour show of a movie? No. Does $70 million sound like you can probably put a lot of more into the images of Apocalypse, the world, Darkseid, and his cronies? Oh yeah, that sounds like some money that can be added towards fixing him, or graphics. We'll look forward to it. Still no date. Obviously, it's going to come out. Snyder Cut's going to come out next year. We'll see how it goes. All right, and on to the bigger section. Tokyo Game Show is going on right now. And I just want to say before I even start, thank you, Twin Infinite website, twininfinite.net. They actually are the only ones that I saw that had a real more highlighted talk about what's going on there. Tokyo Game Show is basically Japanese E3, and it involves probably titles that might not even come to the States. But there's a high chance, I'm assuming, the ones I'm going to talk about are definitely coming to the States. Maybe at a later date. We'd have no real announcement right now we're going to talk about. But there's some red flags when you have a Capcom presentation about Resident Evil 8 or even some newer stuff. Those are coming. We already talked about them. If you're talking about even like finding out about Koei Tecmo, and they might announce they announced some games we were talking about. They don't have no dates for the U.S., but obviously PlayStation's YouTube already has sent out a trailer, so we know it's coming. But anyway, I don't want to go off a real tangent before how it was. It started off with Xbox had a presentation, like I said, starting off with it had a little bit of Scarlet Nexus clip. Scarlet Nexus from Bandai Namco, which we've already seen. That's coming. Looked okay. not really. Some of these stuff I'm going to just more say that happened and not really describe it. But Xbox brought some stats that the Xbox in Japan has increased by about 86% increase of people playing Xbox in Japan. Stick with me, I'm going to say. And 90% of the time, what started it was an indie title on Game Pass. And they're going to, like I said, they announced that they're going to construct cloud gaming for Japan, which is coming next year. But this 86%, last time I checked, if there's one Xbox person in Japan and they get a friend, hey, that went up 100%. The reason I say that is because in Japan, the Xbox Series S is already discounted. It's only discounted like $30. They're trying to make it look interesting. They know it's not their territory. But I do give them credit for being at Tokyo Game Show. PlayStation wasn't, in the sense of, doing something like Xbox did. So I'll give them that. And obviously their ecosystem right now is probably the most interested for Japanese gamers, where you can play on your phone a whole full base game if they set up cloud gaming. So they might increase up to 4 players by the time they get cloud-based gaming going. So I'm looking forward to, good on them to do it. But then they came out with, like, Flight Simulator is going to get a Japan update. Like, get like 6 cities you can fly over, 3 airports, all in 4K. Minecraft Japan Community Sizzle trailer. I don't know if this is new, but they had like a Minecraft Cross UT. I don't know what the fuck UT is. It's something, a Japanese, like, band. They're just showing, like, how Japanese players, it was a sizzle reel of, like, Twitch streamers. A montage of Japanese developers saying, like, good shit about Xbox. It was all in Japanese, so I'm assuming it was just good, because why would it not be? That Balan Wonderland that we talked about on the Switch Direct is coming to all consoles, and I'm at least going to take a step back. The Xbox One, and assuming the PlayStation 5, are way better looking than that fucking Switch port they showed me the first time. So now it went back to catch my eye. It looks like a more definer graphical Hat in Time. So it does look better. So we'll look into it when it comes out. I looked at it like it said Samurai Spirits is coming to the Xbox. And I thought it was the new Samurai Showdown. But I wonder if Samurai Spirits is the name in Japan compared to, like, maybe America is just Samurai Showdown. But it's coming to the Xbox instead of being on PlayStation, like we've been talking. They had a trailer for Resident Evil 8. Pragmata, which is that game that is that astronaut, that little blonde-haired girl with that simulation of, like, a abandoned New York City, and then they end up on the moon. We saw it on PlayStation 5. Apparently it is coming to Xbox also in 2022. They had a trailer for Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, Tetris Effect Connect, and then they had a trailer for that Bright Memory Infinite, which they've showed at the first Xbox third party, like that one that everyone's got mad at because they didn't show that much Valhalla. And I want to just more say, Bright Memory Infinite looks better from that last presentation. They had the guy who's making it alone, like hey, thanks for thinking about blah 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 Japanese. It has less of that fucking wind effect that they had in the first trailer. That I'm like, why would you put this so much wind effect? So it's less in this trailer. It does look better. So it goes back into the pot for me of like, we'll check it out when it gets here. Apparently R-Type Final 2, a trailer for that. And then this one is this is me translating it because it's Japanese, but there's one called RPG Time. It looked, out of all the trailers, this one for the Xbox presentation looked very interesting. I don't think it's going to come to America. That'd be cool if it does. But it's like playing a tabletop D&D game, but in like a tearaway world where like you're trying to do a mission or not a mission. You try to move on the tabletop map, and then like a pop-up of like a monster and a paper monster will come up and like a pop-up book, and it looked very fun. It looked very interesting, but I hope that'd be cool if it comes to the States, but I know this one probably won't. Then they had an Xbox Spec trailer talking about like all the specs and shit, also like promoting Game Pass. Then they had a Scarlet Nexus music video. So very anime. So they had like what would be like their anime theme song of Scarlet Nexus music video with the real band. And that was pretty short and sweet version of the Xbox presentation. And then probably the best one nope, not even that. I won't lie. Next was the Nier panel where they showed Nier Replicant. And just so people understand, Nier Replicant is the actual the first game to Nier Automata. Nier Replicant came out in Japan like during the 360 era. So this is a remake, not even remake, a remaster of a 360 game from Japan. If you're kind of initiated with Nier, you like, hey, so what is this game we got in America called Nier? Well, during the PS3 and 360 time in America received in Japan, picture this. The first Nier was actually like Pokemon. There were two different games. The PS3 one, which was called Nier Replicant in Japan, and we got one in Japan. It was called like Nier Gel Salt with a G. And we got that one version, the 360 version, into the States. I know it goes on a little tangent, but like Pokemon, both the Japanese games of the original Nier, the only difference was the character you played. But they both had the same story and the same final goal. I'm not saying, because I don't know if this matters, but like the 361, which was the American version of the original Nier, that one people call him Father Johann, which is Johann's that's in the game. That's like a universal thing, Johann. So if you ever heard anybody say like Father Johann, that they're talking about the American PS3 360 and then the Japanese 360 Nier game. We're going to get Nier Replicant on PS4. And if you ever heard anybody say it, they call that one Brother Johann, just because it's not I don't want to spoil the story. We're going to talk the story's not going to change. We're just going to get the PS3 one that is involving Brother Johann. And then also during the Nier one, which is I do like this wrestling idea. The creator who has that moon face, he kept his mask on. And the more weirder part was that how the microphone sounded like, oh, is that guy wearing a mask? So after the first trailer, you find out that he put his mask and his scarf on his table, and then he's behind the camera talking. I love someone keeping the joke going. They also announced Nier Replicant is going to come to America on April 23rd, 2021. And apparently also have special edition coming out, the Snow White edition. And watching Tokyo Game Show, I found out it is basically a QVC compared to an E3 for some stuff. There were some panels that were just like, oh, look what's available to buy now. Woo! They also said Nier 3, the third Nier, is in development. They're going to work on it, but obviously they're focused on the first one first. But the third one is in production. So looking forward to that. Nier Automata was great. Next was a quick Capcom, because they did, and also because right now while I'm recording, Capcom is doing like day 2 that involved a more in-depth Resident Evil 8 and then Devil May Cry 5 special edition. But what I got is Resident Evil 8 they had a trailer for Resident Evil 8, and they also announced there that they're not making any promises, because Resident Evil 8 was developed for PS5 and Xbox Series X. After that, they might try to compress it and put it on PS4 and Xbox One. And probably by far, that's probably the best way to say it without those quote-unquote lies that Sony did. Whatever, they're not lies. They're just misinformation in my eyes. But, so if you If you don't want to, if you can wait and you can't buy a next gen console, I don't know. They said no promises, so I don't know how long it's going to be. But yeah, they're trying to think about working on putting it on next gen consoles or current gen consoles. Excuse me. And then they teased me. I thought they were trying to announce something like they're going to do a remake, but no. They just said, "Oh yeah, just so you guys know, March 22nd, 2021 is going to be the 25th anniversary of Resident Evil." And they just made 2 new little logos. I thought how they said it, and they said it so fast, I thought they were announcing that they're making Resident Evil 1 remake, kind of like in the Resident Evil 2 one, like an over-the-shoulder version. That would have been sweet, but no. Not to my knowledge right now. They were just saying, hey, we got some new little logos for our anniversary. So bullshit. More Monster Hunter Rise information that we've already went over. Also, just more before we get into TGS, like I said, is a QVC, but also brings out a lot of sales for America. Like PlayStation has the big in Japan sale going on. I'm assuming Xbox has one too. I would check them out. There's some really good sale prices if you like those Japanese games. But also now, real quick, I'm going into the level 5 panel. And level 5 is probably the one that had the funniest panel because of the translator. Because that's another, like I said, this is a red flag. If you're going to make an English translated panel, these games are probably going to come to the States. They don't have no release date, these ones, I'm going to say. But come on. But first is a new action RPG, Megaton Kaiju Musashi. And it's getting an anime as well as a game. It's going to come out next summer, the anime. And this is probably the funniest part of watching these panels. Because then I usually, after this one, I just started like, if I didn't watch it live, I would just fast forward till I see the gameplay and then go on. But they had the translator for this game said robots 7 times in 2 sentences. I thought I was listening to Bubba talking about shrimp from Forrest Gump. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, it's all about the robots, and it goes, it's pretty cool, and I love creating the robots. I'm like, oh my God. But for you guys and gals, Megaton Kaiju Muashi is a very more just a mech beat 'em up game. Like you're high school kids that go in these mech suits and you fight these monsters. This game is going to be on PS4, Xbox One, and also mobile. So you can tell the top-notchness is going to be whatever. Next was from the Yokai Watch universe, Yokai Academy Y: YY School Life is already out in the Japanese. They're going to get a multiplayer update and is not announced yet for the rest of the release, but come on. If all the other Yokai Watches out here, I'm assuming this is going to be maybe a Nintendo. Maybe it might touch PlayStation, but I'm assuming this is going to be a Nintendo game. And then they teased me. They had a Ni no Kuni new game called Crossworlds. And it turns out it's a fucking mobile game. Crossworld has a science fiction twist to the Ni no Kuni idea, where the player is just a regular person in the real world who is beta testing a new virtual reality game called Soul Diver, which takes them into the world of Ni no Kuni. So it's Ni no Kuni Cross Sword Art Online. It's mobile. Is it going to come to the States? I'm not 100% sure. But I wanted to talk about it because I'm a weeb. And then Koei Tecmo had a few reveals. Their upcoming JRPG Atelier, Rise 2, Lost Legends, and The Secret Fairy are going to be out in Japan, PS4 and Switch, December 5th, with a free PS5 upgrade. I'm guessing, since, like I said, PlayStation has a trailer for this on the American website or YouTube, we are probably going to get this game in January with the PC port. They have further news because the YouTube video says winter, so it didn't tell me a real date. Then Koei Tecmo showed Legend of Zelda Heroes 2, Age of Calamity, a new story trailer that also shows Impa is a playable fighter, and then it comes out still November 20th in the States. It looked okay. I kind of agree with some people because Zelda Heroes 2 is, I don't know what the fucking word they say it, but it's a Dynasty Warriors game. But I don't know why people think the Zelda version of a Dynasty Warriors is better than Dynasty Warriors, because then you're definitely lower enemy count. You're probably at a lower frame rate, which frame rates are whatever, but the idea of, they also announced Dynasty Warriors Empires 9, and they're apparently bringing, you'll be doing a create a character in the more, people said it's called the C-A-W, formula, like from Neo. I don't know what that means, but I'm getting so tired, I might actually get this Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires when it comes to the States, because also I heard it's not open world, and I like that idea that I just want to go into missions under like the old school Dynasty Warriors. All right, we're going to do this, we're going to one more step, we're going to get close to the base, we're going to fight the boss, bing, bang, boom. I might, who knows? We'll see. This new generation, I might be different. Then offshoot, because I don't want to say it was under Koei Tecmo, Earth Defense Force, which is, it has 2 new games coming out, which is usually what they've been doing lately. But this is pretty cool. They announced EDF 6, which is going to be the most, it ain't fucking realistic, but out of the 2, I'm going to say it's the most realistic version of the game. Like, the soldiers look like humans. You're fighting giant bugs, standing up frog androids. They go crazy in that game, but it's a really good, it's like if Dynasty Warriors was guns, instead of hacking and slashing, you just go against giant bugs that are aliens and giant other creatures. But the other one that is interesting is Earth Defense Force World Brothers, which, remember that 3D pixel hero game for PS3? I think Atlas published it. It was kind of like Legends of Zelda. Well, somebody's making a 3D pixel hunt, like Earth Defense Force. So you're gonna fight a pixel art bugs, and you're gonna look like Minecraft characters too. And I have a feeling of connecting some dots. Pixel Arc is that like blocky version of Arc, that open world dinosaur. I don't want to call it MMO, but that Pixel Arc came to Switch. So I bet money EDF World Brothers is going to be the portable like seller for like a Switch version of EDF. It looks good, because if you know what Earth Defense Force is, you know what you're getting into. It's just a nice little like mass shooter. And then also last night, just more so to say it, Falcom, the company, they're bringing Ys 8 to mobile, which is it is what it is. But yeah, it wasn't no crazy like, wow, thank God I watched Tokyo Game Show, but I do love I love those games, and I love watching different societies, because it was very funny to see having these poor women have to be on these panels. And the one panel I liked was that Atelier Ryza 2. They had a chick on there cosplaying as the main person. So she's in like these little shorty shorts and all that shit. And then they're like showing some special editions that involve some posters, and some of them are her like in like lingerie. And I screenshotted her holding like a poster of the anime girl in lingerie, and she kind of had like these face like help me eyes. So, and then that's pretty funny. But yeah, that was Tokyo Game Show. If there's some bigger news that comes out, talk about it next week. But again, thank you Twinfinite.net for probably the easiest way to find out information about this. There's even a game coming out from Konami. So Konami has some games coming out. One Japanese game that's not anything of a main IP. So we'll see how that goes. Thank you Twinfinite.net for all the info. Amazon announced Amazon Luna, the new cloud gaming service they're going to do. Introductory price, $6 a month, 4K, 60 frames per second for select titles. And that price is kind of like a Game Pass style. You pay this much, and these games are available for you to play. And the picture showed like you like control and shit on it. So I'm not saying those are out there on the same day, but it's going to come to PC, Mac, Apple, and Android later. More than 100 games available. It's powered by AWS. It has Twitch integration. And then another thing that came out after this was like the streaming service is under like a Microsoft style streaming service. So apparently it's very easy to port a game onto this streaming service. So that helps developers if they're interested in doing it. But yeah, that's basically it. Look, I did go a little bit more than I thought. But also real quick before I get into the hot picks, I want to just throw out some if there's some confusion with Spider-Man that the fucking people are making, I just wanted to put it out here so maybe you can hear from me to mutter it up. If you want to play the original Spider-Man on your PS5, if you have the disc, you have the digital version, you have Spider-Man for your PS5 in a PS4 updated sense. You get to play whatever fucking version, or you play your old game on your PS5, no harm, no foul. You buy Miles Morales on your PS4, you get PS5 version of Miles Morales, the real PS5 version. Now, here's the clinker that everyone's crying about. If you want to play a remastered version of Spider-Man, the original Game of the Year version of Spider-Man, and if you want new trophies, and if you want 3 new costumes. And for me, if you want to play the DLC, because I did not buy the PS4 Game of the Year or even the add-on packs, you need to buy the Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition, which is the $70, just the price tag of Ultimate Edition of the PS5 game. So right now, since they don't have the digital store up, if you pre-order the disc version of the Ultimate Edition, you get Spider-Man Remastered as well. So you can get basically 2 trophy sets for the price of $70, and that's the only way they're selling the Spider-Man Remastered to my knowledge. And if they do down the road, sounds like it's only going to be $20. They might do 30 because you didn't buy it. But that's how business works. But that's all I was going to say about that. Hopefully I didn't make it more confusing, because I don't think I did. This week's hot picks is for music. I want you guys to go check out Casey Edwards' Bury the Light. It's from the Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. It's that song you heard during the trailer. It's Virgil's theme song for Devil May Cry 5. Comics. Death metal, speed metal. It's about the Flash family evolving during this death metal time, and it's been getting a lot of praise for what it's done for even to help you get Wally West back to be his normal self / I think it's also going to smooth out the goodbye that Joshua Williamson, I think that's his name, who's been writing Flash since the rebirth. He's leaving the comic very soon, if he hasn't done it already. And also, just real quick, I'd like you guys to check out the X of Swords that we talked about during the Comic-Con stuff. You get to learn who's the god of mutants in it. And also, Raised by Wolves, that HBO Max show, has a free issue of the issue 1 of the comic, assuming it's on Comixology, but I got off the DC Comics app, just so if you got interested in it. But that's comics. TV, The Third Day on HBO Max with Jude Law. I think it's pretty interesting. There's only two episodes out now. Long story short, involves Jude Law finding this girl trying to kill herself, and he saves her, takes her home, but now he's trapped on this little village because it's one of these weird ones that involve it's like an English town apparently that or maybe it's not even English. Basically the road gets covered with water after a certain day or time, and then the village coincidentally has cell phone repairs on their towers happening, so he can't call out. And apparently it's a trippy horror. I don't want to call it horror, but it's a trippy thriller. I would check it out. That first episode was better than the first fucking season of fucking Netflix Ratched, and I'll say it, I was forced to watch it after the episode 1. I would have stopped it after episode 1, but my fiance liked it, so I had to watch the whole season, and it sucks. This is how you know it sucks. when you do hashtag Ratchet to get to, like, you know, people talking about this fucking show, and if they're talking about the color schemes of each shot and just saying, I'm glad that they have a lesbian in it, and they do not talk a fucking fraction of story or actual part of the fucking plot, you know it's dog shit. So, don't believe me? Go check out those hashtags. Again, that's it. Thank you. Episode 10 is going to be in the books. Please follow me on Twitter at MikeFowler93. Also at CuzNCiseal. CuzNCiseal. At CuzNCiseal on Instagram. Also, real quick, because I've probably never done it before, Mike Fowler, so FOWLER 93. Please give me a follow. You want to see me, if you you want to see me throw shade at Delvin Cox about not getting able to pre-order a PS5, that's the place to be. Again, thank you for listening. Till next time, be good to each other. Peace.